All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about all things professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the rings, all the rumors behind the curtains, superstar news, updates, injury statuses, whatever. We talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the show. Also subscribe to the GSMC Sports Network because we have a lot of other cool, badass podcast to check out. So to kind of reflect on what we talked about WWE SmackDown, preview that a little bit. Kind of a small card in terms of matches, but I figured, every single time I kind of do a little bit of research about what's going to happen on SmackDown. There's always like maybe two or even sometimes three matches that are like out of nowhere where, you have Blair Davenport fighting or maybe Naomi or that tag team gauntlet match is going to be it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be pretty great. Can't wait to see that. So before we move on to our next segment, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Obviously, leave whatever you can. Most importantly, I'm interested in what you guys really have to say in terms of, the chat and all that. Just, shoot me some of your comments, your predictions, your questions, your concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Here in professional wrestling, the best thing about, being able to connect with somebody is the kind of the ability to, or maybe should I say the inability to kind of come to a consensus. So there's always, talking conflicting ideologies about, hey, who's on your Mount Rushmore wrestling and why? Or, do you like this new young bloodline storyline going on? Do you think Solo Sikoa is ready to hold a title? Do you think he has enough accountability and credibility to kind of, once when Roman does come back, to kind of, just make the fight intense, make the fight, the build up. Because right now, if you have Roman Reigns come back, like easy, be like, oh, so let's go. Like he's kind of a little bit, I'm just kidding, no, but no, like I don't know. I just, shoot me your comments, questions, concerns here at the GSMCpodcast.net. Hit up that link, hit up the tips and donations link, and and yeah, tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel tonight. Tell me what you're doing this weekend. Hey, that's always welcome. All right, so we're going to talk about my Thursday night wrestling review. So let's talk about it. This is the final stop between today's Death Before Dishonor and pretty good one. Former MLW Tag Team Champion Al Nduka will make his promotional debut. He challenged John Cruz, and we had the interview with Lexi Nair and Queen Aminata. So yeah, the show started, of course, with Roderick Strong being a jerk, pinning Tomohiro Ishii from Collision last week, and then being confronted by Mark Briscoe. This kind of segued like to a confrontation with the Mark Briscoe, where Mark Briscoe was kind of confronted Roderick Strong and told him that he might be no Roderick Strong told Mark Briscoe that he might be Ring of Honor champion now, but he'll never be Mr. Ring of Honor. Roderick Strong and Mark Briscoe have been on the Ring of Honor. They've been around for such a long time. You got to respect it. Roderick Strong, he was there once when CM Punk was on Ring of Honor. He was there, I believe, when Cody Rhodes was on Ring of Honor, and I think AJ Styles. And then, Mark Briscoe, obviously, with his brother, Jay, obviously a pretty prestigious tag team competitors. And of course, he unfortunately had to make his way into singles wrestling because of the unfortunate passing of his brother. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great Death Before Dishonor. A lot of craziness, a lot of, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So then we had Lexi Nair interviewed Matt Bennett and no Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. It's kind of crazy how both this starts with them. That's weird. So they were begging Tony Khan for a formidable tag team. It's the conglomeration. Tomohiro Ishii, also Kyle O'Reilly. They don't have the chemistry, I believe, just yet. They're two badass, sick dudes. Like, these guys can go out there and go punch for punch, knuckle for knuckle, blow for blow. But, to beat a tag team as prestigious, as successful as this reign that you have with the Undisputed Kingdoms, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, you kind of need something more than that. So, I want them to lose so bad, but I don't know if things gonna go. it kind of reminds me of the system in TNA a little bit, but that's just how wrestling is. You have a really successful faction, kind of like when you saw the Undisputed Era on WWE NXT, and it was badass. Miss Adam Cole. I wonder when he's coming back. Would be interesting to see him coming back, today, but yeah, then we saw Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, the Ring of Honor Strong Champion, defeat Lee Moriarty and Anthony Ogogo with Shane Taylor. So Yuta, he's actually set to face Moriarty tonight at Death Before Dishonor. So it's nice to see, kind of a little bit of a fun opening match. Shane Taylor did punch Yuta in the jaw, which was uncalled for, absolutely uncalled for foreign objects, kind of lame. But no, my support 1,010% is behind the Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah, especially after hearing that John Moxley is going to take a step away from professional wrestling to deal. I think he's dealing with an injury or whatever he's dealing with. Hopefully goes well. So, and then of course you have the American Dragon, Brian Danielson. Oh, I'm going to say that. I'm going to do that every single episode. I swear to you guys. Swear, man. I need to find a way to kind of, I'm just going to call him BD, Brian Danielson. I'm just kidding. Should be pretty. It was a great match. It was a fun opener. So next we see Lexi Nair was in the ring to introduce the challengers of the women's titles matches at Death Before Dishonor. Obviously, Queen Amidala and Red Velvet going after MIT's Billy Stark, the Ring of Honor World Women's TV Champion, and of course the goddess Athena, my goddess Athena. Oh, love Athena. She's great. The Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, who's been a champion, who has a historic reign going on. Probably one of the best reigns in title run history for men's, women's, tag team, and all across professional wrestling. So that's something that's I think is super damn cool. Um, so, a pretty good interview. Obviously, Athena hobbled to the ring, kind of got held up by Lexi. Athena said Lexi did her best, but these two are uncultured to do an interview segment. Athena said ever since she beat the tar out of one of those two, there were nothing but tyrants and bullies. They called them trashy, just trash. That's a little mean. That's a little aggressive, to be honest. So I don't. Is she gonna have to eat her words tonight at Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor? Who knows? I love Athena. She's definitely one of the best professional wrestling in the women's division right now. Then we saw Gates of Agony defeat Angelico and Serpentico. Like I said before, we saw EJ Unduka defeat John Cruz, which was a good match. Johnny TV and Shane Taylor with Taya Valkyrie defeated Leo Rush and Ring of Honor TV champion Atlantis. That is not good. That is not good because you have these four individuals plus one more, I think it is, plus one more inside the ring tonight at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor for that Ring of Honor World Television Champion. And, Atlantis, he was looking good, Atlantis Jr. Obviously dethroning Kyle Fletcher, who hasn't lost since 2002. 2022. Imagine 2002. Damn. 22-year reign. I'm just kidding. No, but no, it was it's something that he probably should have won. Obviously, kind of like when I say, like what I always say in terms of professional wrestling, when you have triple threat matches, when you have fatal four ways, when you have fatal five ways, or like when you saw the TNA at Slammiversary, you had the six-way elimination match, means that the champion's probably not going to be champion for so long anymore. So, kind of like that kind of like that excuse that they lost. So, yeah. Next, we saw Abaddon defeat Dulce Tormenta. We saw Commander with Action Andretti, Top Flight, and Fuego de Sol with Alex Abrahantes. Oh my God, I totally butchered that. Abrantes. The defeated the Iron Savages, Nick Camarado and Anthony Henry. I like Nick Camarado. I don't know why he doesn't have too much more, success on AEW, also Ring of Honor. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Some of these backstage, you had Queen Aminata and Red Velvet both foul to win their matches. Obviously talking about Death Before Dishonor, and it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be pretty cool, pretty sick. So then we had you know, once again we have TNA Impact. We're going to dig on it. So let me pull up the notes. So all right. So the new TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth kicked off the show. obviously, had no. Why is that happening with my phone right now? No, technology's supposed to help you, but it does not help you. So, the TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth started off the show, and then of course you saw Mustafa Ali as well. Both, one of them had a good Slammiversary. Mustafa Ali finally lost the X Division Championship, which was kind of lingering over his head for a little bit there. I kind of knew something had to give. But Ali continued basically saying how like he was the greatest X Division champion of all time. His majestic music hits, and like he's just so full of himself. But that's what that's what you love about Mustafa Ali. He called what happened at Slammiversary the biggest screw job in the history of wrestling. Of course, kind of hinting at the Montreal screw job with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels because he brought in referee Earl Hebner and didn't really go his way, bro. I'm sorry, Mustafa Ali, but you're a loser, dude. You're a loser. And then, of course, the fans were chanting, "You deserve it. You deserve it." I thought it was pretty cool. A TNA World Champion once again, looking good, looking like he's going to be a great face of TNA for a pretty long time. All right, so then we saw backstage with Nick and Ryan Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian, and Santino Marella. Basically, Kazarian, I believe, was just talking mess. And Ryan Nemeth tells Kaz that they have unfinished business. Santino Marella walks up and confirms Nick Nemeth versus Mustafa Ali, Ryan Nemeth versus Frankie Kazarian for next week. So a lot of great Fallout show to be honest. Steve Macklin defeated Cody Deaner. Well, good for Steve Macklin. Then you saw AJ Francis get back in the winners column, defeating Sammy Callahan. And then we heard the latest from Rosemary. Rosemary, the latest cryptic goth style vignette featuring Rosemary's Heir. She has the knife she was wielding at Slammiversary over the weekend. Once this wraps up, we head into another commercial break. And then you saw Hammerstone teaming up with Ash by Elegance, defeating Eric Young and Jordan Grace. And that was pretty big. That was, you saw Ash by Elegance inside TNA Slammiversary. I watched the match. And she didn't just lie down. She wasn't your average ordinary because she's kind of like that, like that strapping, like kind of like that woman, kind of a little slender and bulky. I think Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance. I think she was also a female bodybuilder. I could be wrong. I need to fact check that one. But yeah, honestly, I think probably one of her best. The person who could probably take down a TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace could probably be Ash by Elegance. She was this close. She was this damn close. Josh Alexander refuses to explain his actions after he screwed over Joe. I believe in Joe Hendry. Um, yeah, to be honest, then the Broken Matt Hardy and ABC defeated the system. The system's on a giant losing streak. Absolutely love it, 1,010%. Next week on TNA Impact, we see PCO, Steph D. Launder's wedding, Jody Threat taking on Masha Slamovich, Rosemary's in-ring return, Ryan Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian, and like I said, Nick Nemeth and Mustafa Ali. So yeah, it should be pretty good. I'm actually excited for next week. It's gonna be dope. Should be pretty badass. All right, guys. Now we're going to move on to our third segment. We're going to talk about Brock Lesnar. Sorry. Oh, God, that hurt. I'm just kidding. Brock Lesnar's WWE return. A lot of speculations, a lot of stories. It was an absolute bombshell, on cage side seats, inside the ropes, and also ringside news. So we're going to talk about that as soon as we come back. So, hey, stay tuned.